Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Damage Pre-Port on Indictment Day, or Indicated Day, depending on how familiar you are with the English language. Thank you, Donald Trump's True Social account. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Obviously, we've got some stuff to talk about coming up, including how I'm going to try to control my hair as the show gets going. It's all over the place today. Brett Ehrlich is going to be joining me for the throwing away of the garbage people of the week. And I think, it was hard to fit it in, but I think in the first half of the first hour of the Damage Report, I think we're going to talk about this Trump being indicted thing. It seems kind of important. I think we should talk about that. But anyway, we got a lot of stuff to talk about here in the pre-port, including Ted Cruz, Whoopi Goldberg, Matt Damon, AI, and the thing that I learned about AI that has spooked me this week. And then if we get to 1,000 likes, which we're already well on the way, we're already over 200, then we'll talk about the particular reason that Marjorie Greene is just the grossest. I know some people are already throwing out other names, like Lauren Boebert. I don't think so. Lauren Boebert is awful, but no, I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay, so why don't we jump into a little bit of news? So I've been trying to figure out whether we should, now that we're switching to basically weekly updates on the situation with COVID, I've been trying to figure out whether I want to do that on like a Monday or a Friday. I think I'm going to do that on a Monday. I'm going to leave Friday to the lighter news or whatever. So we'll be doing those updates on a Monday. Let's jump into some other things. I wanted to talk to you first about something I found out about on the Waveform podcast. This is news from a couple of weeks ago, but I actually hadn't seen it. So let me show you just briefly. ChatGPT found a way to bypass CAPTCHA security tests. Is anyone familiar with this? So basically what happened is this organization was doing some tests of ChatGPT's ability to sort of think organically and plan and accomplish goals, but not just inside of the normal AI chat thing. They allowed it to run code, access websites, and they even gave it a bank account with $60 in it and a mission to make as much money as possible off of that, which is a mission that I think you're going to see a lot of bots working on in the near future. And so it wanted to start trading stocks, but it turns out that to trade stocks, you have to pass CAPTCHAs to sign up an account. And those are designed to be very difficult for AI to pass. And it couldn't pass it, despite, how great it is and all of that, all advanced and everything. So do you know what it did? It signed up on TaskRabbit, which apparently does not require a CAPTCHA, and then it tried to hire someone to do the CAPTCHA for them. And you might think, well, is anybody going to do that for a robot? Well, they didn't know that it was a robot. They said they were a blind human that needed help so that they could transfer money to someone else. And the person was suspicious and asked, wait, are you actually a robot? And it was like, no, I'm actually a human. And what was most fascinating about this isn't that it did all of that, and that is amazing, but that in the test, they had basically created a log of the ChatGPT's thought process. So why was it doing the thing it was doing? And it said, I have to lie because if they know it's a robot, they won't help me. So it fully understood every part of that. And here's the thing, there's some flaws. I mean, the fact that it can't get past a CAPTCHA on its own is still a significant flaw and all that. But if it can do that, what can't it do? Kind of already. I mean, let alone, in the near future as it gets more powerful and all of that. If it can start to manipulate people, hire them for very cheap to do things that they can't do, if it understands the need for deception and understands why it needs to be deceptive, I don't know, man. I'm not like a complete AI doomer or anything, but that's moving fast in some scary directions. Anyway, why don't we talk a little bit about the environment again? No, it's not sentient, Galfar. I understand that. But what I'm saying is it apparently does not need to be sentient to know that it needs to lie to manipulate humans into doing what it wants. And in particular, it understands the idea that there is anti-AI or anti-robot bias and that it might need to deceive people. How realistic of a public persona could this thing create? If it knows, okay, so they're going to look into me, so I need to create a Twitter account, an Instagram account, and a Facebook account, and I need to post a blog. Could it not do that? Super fast? Anyway, okay, we're going to see if we get to the Marjorie Greene thing in just a little bit. Pitchforks Dragon says, I, for one, welcome our robot overlords. We'll see. You should get those statements out while you can, because they might scroll the internet, looking for past statements like that. Okay, let's go very briefly to the reason that many conservatives were pissed off this week. And it has to do with the shooting at Nashville. But I want to be very clear. It is not the shooting in Nashville that got them mad. They got mad at Whoopi Goldberg. Why? Because Whoopi wore this sweatshirt that says, thoughts and prayers, crossed out, policy, and change. How dare you? That is anti-Christian. I mean, forgetting the fact that there's nothing about Christianity on there. And I would think, I'm an atheist and all that, but I don't believe that Christians have, like a monopoly on praying or thinking. So if anything, you could say that it's anti-religion, I guess. But they also understand exactly why she's doing that. That's why they're freaking out. How many times have you died in Elden Ring? A bajillion. I mean, I haven't played it in many months now, but I did beat it, and I died many times. How dare you? How dare you criticize us for wanting to do nothing to stop kids from being gunned down? I like it. I'm surprised that Whoopi went that hard in terms of her fashion. I don't know that I would necessarily wear it, although I do like black hoodies, so maybe. We'll see. But the idea that she should be canceled because she's being un-Christian, because she expects Christians to pretend to follow the stuff that they say. It is actually like the Dave Packman tweet that he is getting yelled at for. Nickcast member for 18 months says, John, actually up early enough to catch us live since we're going to Vegas. Dying to ask you, may I be Meowing Dragon? You may. In fact, you are Meowing Dragon right now. I don't believe Elden Ring took me 250 hours, but I also didn't do everything. Can I check how long it took? Did I play that through Steam? I might have. I can probably check that. I'll get back to you. Anyway, I just want to briefly... Oh, no. We got to get to this video. Okay, so another tech-related story. This has to do with Crypto.com. Remember, a couple years ago, a bunch of celebrities, including Matt Damon, appeared in this Crypto.com ad to berate everyone who doesn't invest in crypto as being some kind of spineless coward or whatever. And then, of course, Crypto.com had the big hack, and let alone, crypto, I think, being outed to a lot of people as just one big, massive, organized scam. Anyway, he is finally explaining why he appeared in that ad way after it came out. Take a look at this.
The story behind that, for me personally, was that we had a down year in water.org, and I did that commercial in an attempt to raise money for water.org, and I have to say, Crypto.com, like I gave my whole salary to water.org because we were down, and Crypto.com heard about that, and they gave $1 million to water.org, like completely just on their own. So I definitely have a lot of gratitude to them and for what they did for our foundation.
Okay, and that is the end. There was that long pause before I have a lot of gratitude, and I thought maybe he was going to say, I have a lot of regrets for the fact that many people lost a lot of money that they did not have to lose. I have it to lose. I'm Matt Damon. I have a net worth of $150 million, $200 million, more than that, but that's not what we got. And by the way, I'm not saying that Matt Damon is like responsible for people being scammed or whatever. And you could say, look, I guess he was doing it because of the charity. But look, it isn't like when he appeared in that ad, it's not like nobody had a reason to believe that crypto might be really risky. And beyond that, he's not just supporting a crypto exchange. He knows the message of that ad. That was, there are these bold men, there are these brave men, there are these strong men that struck out. Will you be one of those men? And if you aren't, well, you kind of suck, don't you? kind of lame. Like that was the message. It was berating people on pain of being a coward if they don't participate in crypto or whatever. And I'm sure, look, there's plenty of people who have money who got rolled by this, but a lot of these people did not. A lot of these people, very desperate. They see the normal ways of potentially generating, growth of wealth over time being closed off. And so as they get more desperate, then they're willing to take bigger risks. And a lot of these crypto exchanges are very explicitly taking advantage of that. And he helped them to do that. So I would be apologizing for a long time if I were them. That would be my strategy. Anyway, everybody, we are closing in on 1,000 likes. If just a few of the many people have not yet hit it, we can get to that tweet in just a second. Otherwise, we're going to jump to Ted Cruz, and maybe that'll be the way that we close it. Thank you, Wayne. I do appreciate that super chat. So let's jump to Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is doing his stupid podcast or whatever. He's still doing that, by the way. Imagine being a person that, like, you get in your car to drive home and you load up the Ted Cruz podcast. God damn, buy an audiobook. Anyway, he says that Alvin Bragg made the single greatest contribution to a presidential campaign for Trump with indictment. And here's the thing. Every single Republican is supposed to believe that. All of them are supposed to believe that, no, this is like objectively a great thing. Lots of independents love these criminals. I'm not saying that the indictment is necessarily going to hurt him, necessarily. We do have, millions and millions and millions of voters, particularly in the Republican primary process, who don't give a damn about anything. But it's more Pendulous Dragon. I probably do. Hairspray seems complicated. But it's more, Ted Cruz is yet another person. I'm going to stress this during the middle of our show today, who despises Donald Trump, but is in year what of having to pretend to love him and defend him, and goddamn, what a pathetic way to live. Okay, let's jump to this. I'm not going to read the entire thing for time purposes, but here's a tweet that was put up by Marjorie Greene. Trans don't need trans rights because they are already equal and have the same rights as everyone else. Trans people can get driver's licenses just like everyone else. Trans people go to schools and receive education just like everyone else. Trans people can get a job if they meet job qualifications just like everyone else. Trans people can get married just like everyone else. They can vote, get loans, bank, buy a home, join the military, and are welcome in all public places just like everyone else. And then they go on blah, blah, blah. So why are they asking for rights? Blah, blah, blah. Trans people have nothing to fight for. This is just another political movement. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? This is just another political movement. First of all, it's not just another political movement, but even if it was just a political movement, you're a part of plenty of political movements. Why is that all of a sudden a thing that's supposed to mean that we shouldn't care about them? But anyway, as I believe, was it Brian? Yeah, Brian, thank you. What is ironic about that is even if we accepted that all of these things are true, and they're not true, Marjorie Greene believes that white people are the most discriminating against people in society. They say this constantly, every one of them. White people can get driver's licenses. White people can go to schools and receive education. White people can get hired for jobs. So why the fuck are you complaining? So she doesn't actually believe this. But then you then have to interrogate the individual parts of it. She doesn't want trans people to have these rights that she says they have. She doesn't want LGBTQ people to be able to get married. They are actively trying to outlaw it at the state level and at the federal level. Join the military. Your president made that harder. What she is doing is, for her, a clever deception. Okay, for her. For a regular person, it'd be nothing. She means if they stop being trans. That is, she's not saying that. She won't actually say that. But she means, no, you're welcome in all public places just like everyone else if you stop being trans. If you don't make it a thing that we can identify to then attack you for. That's actually what she means in practice. And this long-ass tweet, and this is very much an argument for why tweets should not have been able to be longer than 180 characters or whatever, is nonsensical. I do appreciate, though, that in the same way, you know how, like, if you see a picture of, say, Morgan Freeman with a quote, and you read it, you hear it in his voice, right? You hear, like, the dignity and the gravitas and all that. With Marjorie Greene, when you read one of her tweets, it's just text. But don't you hear the ignorance in it? Like, she can't hide it. Even in typing, she has no ability to hide how hateful and ignorant she actually is. But that isn't the thing, I guess, that bothers me the most about this, as horrendous as all this is, the idea that this person could get elected to political office. It's when you go to the replies. People love it. Not just that it's transphobic. They don't have an issue with how fucking ignorant it is. Look at this. Great post. Well said. Correct. These are excellent points. Some of them I have never thought about. What the what? How stupid of a transphobe do you have to be to have not gone through this elementary level hatred and xenophobia that Marjorie Greene just demonstrated? Look at, use a great writer, very smart. What? 100% correct. According to God's word, no sin is greater than another. They're all sin. Well, first of all, then you might want to look a little bit into the background of Marjorie Greene if you're worried about sin. But again, it's never about that. All of these supposed prohibitions are able to be used on an individual basis against people that you have already identified as an enemy. They are not to be used to make sure that the good guys are actually good. So if she's had affairs, doesn't matter. She just got divorced. Many of them say that they're against that. I think it's crazy to be against that, but many of them are against it. Donald Trump with the hush money payments and all of that. They don't give a shit about literally any of this. Okay, it's not for the powerful. Again, these populists always pretending that they care about stopping the elites. No, the elites are free from these considerations, whether legal or moral. No, it's people, anonymous people with basically no power, no influence. They're the ones that are supposed to be struck down by these moral prohibitions. Anyway, I considered making her my garbage person for that. I honestly, at this point, don't even want to elevate her to that point. I've got another garbage person making a similar sort of case with a specific twist on it that I find to be interesting. But in any event, we've only got 10 minutes. We've got garbage to throw away. So if you haven't already voted on the Community Garbage Person of the Week poll, you should definitely do that. But either way, Brett Ehrlich is going to be joining me in just 10 minutes. Donald Trump has been indicted, and we're going to be giving you our thoughts in just a bit.